Nuclear.
Oh, this is the one I've been waiting for. Let's go.
Nuclear. I don't know how to say that word. Oklahoma. Sooners. I'm looking at the camera at you. I love you. You've accused me for years for hating your team. Oklahoma will make the playoff in 25. That's my prediction. I really think I'm going on a limb on this. And like, obviously part of this too is that you and I had to be different and you got to pick the Auburn horse. So I picked the other horse that we were talking about.
You could have picked Florida.
Could have picked Florida. But, would that have been that bold of a take? I guess
no. This feels like a more bold take just because we did see Florida at the end of last season doing the things that would be required to do it this season. We've not seen that from Oklahoma.
Have we talked about the three, the SEC three, Oklahoma, Florida, and Auburn? And which one of those three is the favorite to make the playoff in our minds? Would you say Florida is the favorite of those three?
No, because I don't know about DJ Lagway's health. I don't know that I can pick a favorite of these three because I have serious questions about all of them, obviously.
Yeah, and I don't know if like we're doing other teams a disservice by not including them in the three. These are like big brands that in the past.
Right, because I think Ole Miss probably belongs in that conversation too. Tennessee freaking made the playoff last year. Texas A&M was playing for a spot in the SEC championship game on rivalry weekend, so it's not like these are the only three outside of the usual suspects.
Tier the SEC because we don't. That's a JD Pickell bit, so we don't do that. But like, let's tier it. The top tier of the SEC is obviously the big three that I mentioned earlier: Georgia, Alabama, and Texas. Right? Those are the three. Then you have the second tier, LSU, and I think LSU even might be alone in that second tier. Mm-hmm. But LSU would be that second tier, I think. And then you have the glob. But my third tier below LSU would be these three teams, and all teams from the second and third tier, I think, could conceivably win the championship.
I think it'd be these three teams:
Ole
Texas
Miss,
A&M, and Ole Miss,
A&M, and then South Carolina. You would have to put it,
and South Carolina, and maybe Tennessee.
I think Tennessee would be Tennessee, Vanderbilt in my fourth tier, and then like Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Arkansas, Mizzou. Wait, where would you put Mizzou? We haven't talked enough about Mizzou.
I think Mizzou's on a higher tier. Mizzou and Tennessee might be on a similar tier this year.
Tennessee, Vanderbilt in that tier, and then the bottom tier would be.
By the way, Vol Twitter's done with you. You are dead to Vol Twitter.
I think at this moment, like that's a reasonable thing. I don't know, like I hope that like in order, you're gonna laugh, Andy, but like in order to keep Vol Twitter on my side, do I have to like being reasonable is not enough? You've got to go above and beyond reasonable. River, get up here. River, get up here.
No, we're talking about. Oh, hi, River.
Hi. I'm sorry.
Just resident Vol for life.
Is me putting Tennessee in the fourth tier heading into this specific year? This isn't program rankings. This is expectations of 25. Insulting.
The fourth tier, they just made the playoffs. A lot of their defense is returning. The biggest question mark is the quarterback and receivers. I think 4 is a little too low. I don't think they're second tier, but probably tier 3.
But do you think that Tennessee belongs in the same tier with Oklahoma, Florida, and
I mean, they all play Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Florida.
No, I'm just saying, like, do you
Tennessee
think that
beat them both last year?
Do you think I should think that?
I think they're closer than you're making it out to be, but I don't know if you need to put them in that direct tier because
they're in the tier right below it.
We were talking about Oklahoma, though.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Oklahoma. Okay, let's go back to Oklahoma
here.
Anyway, we have to round out the conversation though and say the bottom tier are the 3 lower ranked teams. Which Kentucky, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. But okay, Oklahoma. Here's why I have them there. And I think I'm being a little bit froggy, okay? But I am absolutely hammered drunk on John Mateer hype. I've watched him in his highlights, and I watched him play last year. I think he has a chance, stone cold face to you, Andy, right now to be the best quarterback in college football this year. Like that is on the table. Will it happen? I don't know. But like I have Mateer in my Arch Manning, Lagway, Sellers like group of like, holy crap, these guys are going to be incredible. I also think that people are undervaluing Oklahoma tremendously going into the year because we're overreacting. We're over analyzing what happened a year ago and thinking that is what they are, when actually I think it's more likely that Oklahoma, one of the most consistent programs in the history of college football, had a blip bad year than it is a trend. We've all gotten so hyper-focused on how bad they were a year ago that we fixated on things that have no application to this season. They had awful injury luck, which they hopefully can subside this year. They got a quarterback that can be a star. They have a revamped or at least retooled offensive line. They hired a new offensive coordinator. They've got the best defensive-minded head coach in the country, and they have Jaden Ott in the backfield. Like, I'm high on Deion Burks. Like, they have
best
guys
defensive-minded head coach in the country. You realize Kirby Smart is a defensive-minded head coach.
Don't needle me with
with facts.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. All right. Second best. Like, is that better? Like, did my point change? Like, I don't like. You know what I'm talking about. So Oklahoma has the hardest schedule in college football. This is the elephant in the room, right? Like, they have the hardest schedule. They might have the hardest schedule I've ever seen. And you can't talk about Oklahoma without at least acknowledging that. But in conjunction with my fourth overall bold prediction, a 9-3 team will make it. I think that Oklahoma at 9-3 is an absolute lock to make the playoff. If they go 9-3 against this schedule, they are going to have multiple quality wins that will allow that metric that the SEC thinks is just made up going into this year that will help them, which is quality wins and strength of schedule. Like, that stuff's going to help them. So I personally believe, and I think that I've come around to this, that we're overvaluing Michigan this year. But I think that if Oklahoma were to beat them, which I anticipate that they will if I had to pick the game right now, that Oklahoma will get a lot of credit for a win that may not be as sexy at the end of the year as it was at the beginning. Their front half of their schedule, River, if you could help me out and throw it back up there again, is more manageable than the back half in terms of the South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Mizzou, LSU all in a row is a nightmare. But if they go and win against Auburn and Michigan and start the season off 5-0, and they go into Red River undefeated, which I think is a certain possibility, and they play that game close, I think you go into the back half of the year with the opportunity to go 5-2 on the back half, and or to only lose twice on the back half and finish 9-3 with a loss to Texas. I think that puts you in. Like, if you're
9-3 against this schedule, there's a really good chance you've beaten at least one playoff team. And I think that's like, if you're gonna get in at 9-3. The thing you're probably going to have done is beat at least one other team in the field.
If there are 3 losses are Texas, Alabama, and LSU, that means they will have beaten Michigan, Auburn, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Mizzou.
Yes. And that's going to look very good. And there's a good chance that one of those might actually be in the playoff.
Now the question is, do you think that 9-3 is a feasible thing? And also, do you dare to ask, could they potentially beat one of the other 3 that we're giving them losses on?
If you're 9-3 against this, or if you're capable of going 9-3 against this schedule, you are capable of going 11-1 against this schedule.
Brent Venables is a hot topic, and a lot of people like to, hey, he can't coach or whatever. I think he can coach. And he's also there to beat the teams that we're assigning losses to. They're not there to go 8-4, 7-5. He is hired, and his job is to go 10-2 or better against this schedule, Andy. Like, that is a fact. He knows what the job is. I think that, this might look awful. Oklahoma might be improved from last year and still go 6-6. I think that's on the table too. But considering how we are viewing them, it's almost like we forgot their consistency. It's almost like we forgot who they are. It's almost like we forgot what they've given us year after year after year after year, my entire adult life. I think that they have an opportunity here to surprise us, and I think it's possible that if their quarterback is a household name, they avoid injuries, and their offensive line can block, that they are a very, very tough out in the SEC and a team that's capable of beating Texas, even in a rivalry game. You're the one last year that told me last year, oh, it's the Red River. Anything can happen. It's crazy, right? Like, this is the type of year where that craziness kind of manifests, I think. So
John Mateer was the most sought after player in the transfer portal this year. There was a reason for that. So if he is as good as everybody thinks he is, this is going to be a much better team.
Yeah, they got the Bermuda Triangle. You know, they got Jaden Ott, they got Deion Burks, and they got John Mateer. If their offensive line can block, they're going to score.
And that's the question.
Yeah.
It's that the biggest question is how good will their offensive line be? And we won't know that until we see them play, probably until we see them play Michigan.
Yeah.
That's a very good defensive front they've got to deal with there. So if they can handle Michigan, then they can probably handle the defensive fronts on the rest of their schedule, which, by the way, especially Texas, especially Alabama, especially LSU, going to be good.
What's your verdict, though? See it? Or do you think
possible.
it's insane?
I see it. I just think, and this is the reason I say Oklahoma has the hardest schedule in the country and not Florida. Because I think if we just look at the teams they play out of order, we go, it's about the same. The fact that Oklahoma has those 7 in a row, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU, nobody else has to deal with that kind of cumulative effect.
Yeah.
And I think it is going to be like, you got to be really good to overcome that.
The expectation is that Oklahoma will be very good. I'm not taking my eye off the ball because everybody got distracted by last year.
All right.
Last year is not this year. And I think that everybody forgets that.
I think that's fair. And I think that's actually something we probably should all tell ourselves this time every year.
Rule for life. Last year is not this year.
I like it.